Hey guys, E3 is now over, but I have a few more stories I still want to cover, and I will have a big E3 recap coming out this weekend. But today we are talking about the Eridian weapon that Gearbox showed off in the Borderlands 3 We Are Mayhem trailer that flew under the radar of most players and was actually hidden in plain sight. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at HayderHype, and let's get right into it. So months ago, Submato and his sources claimed that Eridian weapons would be returning in Borderlands 3, and the community wasn't so sure. There was a ton of debate around it until an anonymous fan was able to data mine all the manufacturers in Borderlands 3, and they found that SNS munitions and Eridian weapons were both listed, which happened in April. Then, close to a month ago on Reddit, community member Zippy Tryhard found a freeze frame from the Smart Weapon XL in Borderlands 3 gameplay frame that the barrel actually said Alien Barrel. And then it got the community thinking that this is an Eridian weapon. And it kind of reminded people of the Polaris style weapon from the Borderlands MMO. But for me, this is just a legendary weapon. It says Alien Barrel instead of Eridian Barrel, and the manufacturer is still Tediore, not Eridian. And we know that Eridian will be a manufacturer in game. So this still might be an Eridian weapon, but I don't say it's a full Eridian weapon, and I kind of dismissed this, so we still really haven't seen our first Eridian weapon until now. So fast forward to E3, we got the trailer We Are Mayhem for Borderlands 3, and it showed off a new weapon that was heavily featured in the trailer and covered extensively, but not for the right reasons. And if you saw the thumbnail, I'm talking about the weapon that can shoot other weapons, and we have some info to back this up. Going back to IGN's trailer breakdown with the Gearbox devs Randy Varnell and Paul Sage, they were actually asked if they could tell IGN who the manufacturer of this weapon is, and I don't think IGN realized how spot on this question was. So let's take a listen.
This is the biggest one we want to talk about. Like it's a gun that shoots loot. I hate to say it, but we're a literal loot shooter.
Yes.
I'm assuming that was in your guys' brains when you were making this gun. It's like, hey, we're a looter shooter. Why don't we have a gun that shoots loot?
Yes.
So can you tell us more about how this gun will function? Is it a gun that'll do damage, or is it like a timed thing, or one-time use only, or what's going on here?
This is a gun that shoots guns.
Does it shoot infinite guns?
It does. If you had infinite resources to shoot, then maybe.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it does take some kind of resource to shoot.
What's the manufacturer?
Yes.
Can it shoot? Yeah. Can it shoot legendaries?
Yes.
Ooh. All right. I'm gonna segue that into something else.
And we get a lot of info here. Randy said that if we had an infinite resource, then this weapon could be fired forever, which should already start to give you guys some red flags. And I think that potentially this gun could run on Eridium, or some new resource we will be collecting. We know Eridium is returning in this game, we have seen it in the UI, and it would give us something to spend Eridium on now since Marcus sells the storage deck upgrades. We learned this inside the gameplay reveal, and at that reveal, Randy Pitchford was talking, showed us Marcus, but Randy Varnell was the one who jumped in and said, notice that they're sold for cash now, not Eridium.
And why don't we stop first? Let's head over to Marcus. Just keep going. Ignore that golden chest. Marcus's place is right around the corner here.
It's a beautiful day, full of opportunity.
Now, in Borderlands 3, Marcus will be our vendor for upgrades to our storage deck unit, right? So we can get more storage to carry more loot and more ammunition.
You'll notice that it costs cash to upgrade your storage deck.
So what are we using Eridium for? It's possible that we will be using Eridium for all the Eridian weapons. When he's asked about the manufacturer, all he says was yes, so why can't he tell them if it was one of the manufacturers we already know about? So even all this by itself doesn't mean it's an Eridian weapon, but friend of the channel Mental Mars noticed the same mysterious logos throughout the different areas across the planets. We see one of the symbols behind Tannis and Reese on Promethea, another one hidden on a tree on Eden 6, and finally the same symbol on the weapon on what looks like Pandora, the weapon that can fire these other weapons, which should start to paint a picture for you guys. So even with these symbols, they're everywhere, but that still doesn't mean it's Eridium. But then the last piece of the puzzle came from Reddit once again, this time from the user Hope Rogers, who noticed in a stream that these will be called Eridian logs. There's the same symbol, these markings, and we will be hunting them just as an extra challenge piece in this game. They have the same logo as everything else we've mentioned, and the same logo as the weapon. So it looks like that this loot weapon is the first Eridian weapon we have seen in Borderlands 3 and was hidden in plain sight, and most people did not even notice. It also looks like Eridian weapons will be getting a noticeably large redesign. Just look at this weapon itself, it doesn't look like an Eridian weapon besides the symbol. I bet we will still see the Borderlands 1 style Eridian weapons somewhere in game, but it looks like we also will get completely new weapons with crazy functions. And it might be a step too far, but it's possible these all could run on Eridium, so they will be extra powerful weapons that require this resource. And we'll just have to see if this ends up working out and what Gearbox has to say in the future. But that's where I'm going to end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and share, subscribe for all things Borderlands, and I will see you guys in the next one.